Okay, I can't lie. This is gonna be a. This was supposed to be a really well edited and organized video, and then I've been like, I realized I'm not like that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna record myself making a face rig, and edit out all the fluff. This is the first Academy 7090 video, and it's very rough and complicated. I mean, it's not that complicated. Making you know what? I'm gonna just go make the face rig. Okay, for people who are new to Roblox Studio, I'll show you the 3 techniques that are vital for making anything in Roblox Studio. So first, we're gonna open up the Home tab and insert a part. So this is what a part looks like. If I Control D, it duplicates it. I'm gonna select both of these. Right click. Union combines both parts that you have selected and basically treats them as one. Control D to separate, undo. Next, if you select a part, right click and do the negate function, and then you move it to where it's colliding with something, and then you union these, it's going to cut into the non-negative shape using the negative shape. And if I were to unnegate this, and I were to intersect both of these objects, then the parts that were, intersecting are what's left over after the operation. With that, you can now make anything. To start off the tutorial, open your Home tab, go to the toolbox, and get an R6 rig. I already had it up here because I tried recording this multiple times. I don't like that this R6 rig has the dummy name tag, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up, humanoid root part, going to go into the properties. If you don't have these, if you don't see these, go to view, and you can open your Explorer, which is this, and the properties tab. So I'm going to select the humanoid, I'm going to turn off the display, because I don't like that. It's ugly. Next, I'm going to scale it up a bit, because it will make it easier for me to operate, and without having to zoom in and stuff. Alright, so the first thing we have to do is create a union head. You can grab a union head from the toolbox. I don't recommend doing that, because not all the union heads in the toolbox are great. So it might be better to just make your own. And I'm going to do this by first inserting a part. I'm going to click the drop down menu and select cylinder. I'm going to set the position to 0, 0, 0. Make sure that you're I forgot to set the dummy to 0. This is scuffed. This is scuffed. You want to set your dummy to 0, 0, 0. We're going to do this because later on it'll make it easier to mirror objects. If I model one half of the eye, all I have to do to mirror this is add a negative sign here, and boom, it's mirrored. So that's why we want to do things at 0, 0. But yeah. So let me just move that here. So we're going to make a union head. We're going to do this by just scaling the cylinder to where it matches the normal mesh head. It's not going to be perfect because, but we'll do what we can do. Who cares? Lengthwise, try to scale it to where there's a point where it kind of tapers down. You want to get it around there. It doesn't have to be perfect, especially if this is your first face rig. Don't worry too much about it. I was about to say I might provide a union head that you guys can work off of, but no. Okay, so now that we got our cylinder wrapped to the head, we're going to duplicate this with Control D, and then we're going to go here and change the shape of it into a ball. And now, if you try to scale this, you'll realize that it moves the entire thing. I don't want that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to union it, and now I can scale it like this, which is what we need. So now what we're going to do is that we're going to scale it lengthwise to try and match the edges. Again, it's going to be a little hard to do it if you're new, and it doesn't matter if there's small gaps. You can probably when you get better, redo this, make a better union head. But yeah, we're just gonna. Oh yeah, if you don't, I forgot to explain this. I'm a bit of an idiot. If you hold Control, you can scale on both sides. So I'm doing that. Yeah, hold Control while scaling. Sorry for not telling you that earlier. yeah, just align the edges, and then get something like that. Let me just double check that everything is good over here. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this transparent. I'm going to delete the face because that's going to show up even if I make this transparent. Just so that I can work on my thing properly. Duplicate the sphere here. Just slide that down. And align it. There. Something like that. Let me do that to the top one. There we go. Okay, so now we have a union head. We want a union head because you can't do unions, negatives, and intersects on a mesh. You can only do that on unions. So now we're going to select this. We're going to union it. That way we can operate on the entire thing. Okay. So now that we have our union head, the first step of making the face rig is to create the eye shape. And we're going to do this by first inserting a part. I'm going to scale it like this. And in the description, I want you to download a plugin called the Local File Importer. What this is going to do is essentially allow you to import images from your computer into Roblox Studio without uploading them. And you can just like place them anywhere. This is very useful for like placing down references and stuff, because uploading images is a bit tedious. So I'm just going to, import a front-facing reference. This is a drawing by Sasamtia. I think that's how you pronounce it. I have no fucking idea. But, yeah. This is how I want to do my face rig. You can just grab any front-facing image. It'll work. And yeah. Preferably front-facing. If it's, like, at an angle, it's going to be some awkward proportions. But yeah. Now that we have a reference, we're going to open up the Home tab, insert a cylinder. We're going to use a cylinder because I like building the shapes with cylinders because they have round edges, and you can align these round edges. So hold on. We're going to union this so that we can manipulate the shape a bit better. And we're going to recreate the shape of one of these eyes using the cylinder unions. So I'm just going to get the general shape first. You got, see, it matches the curve. And then for these more specific bits, what I'm going to do, so I'm going to duplicate this. And then I'm just going to try to fill in the gap using other cylinders. You could also use parts for certain areas. I'm not going to use parts because I think using parts are like, they make the lines too sharp. Like, there are flatter areas, but I like to just use like thinner cylinders to recreate that like this. So yeah, we're just going to do this. And to make them smoother, you want to go up close and just align those edges a little better. And then duplicate it again. Do it for this side. And then preferably the less parts the better. I haven't really noticed any crazy like performance issues when I used a lot of parts, but it's just like good practice to use less parts than needed. Did I say less parts? I mean, just keep it low. That's good. So now that we have our eye shape, we're going to union this. A union. And now we're going to move the eye shape towards the head. And just place it down. Scale it a bit, since I don't know if you scaled your reference to your head. So just make sure that it looks proper. Just try to imagine both eyes right now, but we're only going to place down one. Here we go. And once you got the right position of your eyes, or you think you do, duplicate it, Control R twice to sort of flip it. And then in the properties, you're going to scroll down to position, and we're going to mirror it by doing, placing the negative sign here, and boom! Zoom out, make sure that it feels right. I think these are a little too close together. So I'm going to move it a bit. Do the same thing here. What the oh, I did this to the side, so I'm a dumbass. Here we go. There we go. That looks great. Okay, so now that we have our eye shapes here, what we're gonna do is that we're gonna create an eye head with eye holes in it, and we're also gonna create the sclera. If you don't what, fuck, if you don't know what the sclera is, it's the white part of the eye, and we're gonna create separate pieces for them so that you can color them separately and stuff. So first, to do this, we're gonna duplicate everything here actually. So we're just gonna select everything. I'm gonna copy and paste that original location. You could just Control D. I don't know why I didn't Control D, but I decided to do it that way. Okay. So now I'm gonna make these all transparent for now. What we're gonna do first is with these, I'm going to union them, make them negative, and we're gonna union them with the head right here. And boom! An eye head with eye holes. Make these untransparent so I can see them now. I'm actually going to I'm going to duplicate the union head again. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to intersect. Boom. And then... What the fuck? Oh, did I not select the right thing? Am I slow? Did I select the wrong thing? Hold on. What the fuck is this? Oh, that's the eye head. What is this? Okay, that's the union head. So it's these. Okay, there we go. So now, if I were to grab both these intersections, push them back, boom, eye head with the eye whites. I'm gonna scroll down, enable use part color, and then, bam. Me personally, I like to make my eye whites neon, and then I like to lower the color down a bit. That way I have like this kind of like flat lighting. You know, that's me personally though. Now the next part, this is probably the most tedious part, because it's a... Okay. We're going to make the eyelids. We're going to do this first by copying the union head. Copy. We're going to paste that original location. I actually do this instead of duplicating, because there can be some problems with positions if you just duplicate. I don't know why. It just is. From here, I'm actually going to... Is it this one that we... So yeah, we're going to make the things that we just duplicated transparent for now. And just so that we can use those later. Now, we're going to create the shape of the eyelids using a block. I'm basically just going to scale this to like, there's like this like point where, it like switches between like, how do I describe this? Fuck! Okay, right here. You want to do it to up, why the fuck? You want to do it up here. It, changes the angle. You want to, you probably understand. You, oh my god. I'm going to kill myself. Okay. Yeah, we're just going to use these parts and scale them. And, make sure it doesn't cross like this line. I mean, you could. I just rather wouldn't. And then, actually, okay. And then duplicate. We're just gonna drag the like this. And now we're gonna duplicate these, and we're going to mirror them. We're gonna do that by putting the negative sign there, negative sign there, and boom. So the reason we duplicated the union head earlier is so that we can is this the one that, okay, yeah. So actually what I'm gonna do is also I'm gonna separate this. I'm gonna get rid of these spheres. I'm gonna do this because that adds like more parts to the operation. That's going to like make it less optimized, you know? So now we only have a cylinder. I'm going to duplicate this cylinder that we got from the operation 4 times for the 4 eyelids. We now have 4 cylinders. We're just going to intersect these with the parts. Intersect. Let's do this over and over and over. And now for the negative part that we made transparent, what I'm going to do actually, so I'm going to separate this, and we get both of these, then duplicate it, make these negative, and then we're going to union this with our eyelid to make the shapes. There we go. And boom. Now, if we were to move these, you get eyelid shapes. This is like the main like function of how the eyelids work. And yeah. But you'll notice that if I were to drag this down, oh no, there's gaps. Or like, if I were to drag this, like, oh, there's not too much shape variation. And here comes the tedious part. Here, we're going to make extensions and eyelid variations. You don't have to do this. If you have like a smaller eye shape, you won't have the problem with there being gaps. But if you have bigger eyes, which I preferably want because bigger eyes means there's more variation and like room for exaggeration, you're going to have this problem. So what we're going to do, I'm gonna duplicate our eyelids. I like to do them like top or bottom at a time, so we'll have these. All we're gonna do, grab a part, and then we're just going to scale them to the size of the eyelids. And then for the top lids, hold on. Fuck. Okay, we're just gonna intersect. Boom. But I'm gonna do this for the other one as well. I really don't have to mirror this, but like I'm going to. And bam. We now have extensions. And these fold like right within your thing. It has Z fighting right now, but this is because the material isn't smooth plastic. You want your heads to have the same material, which would be smooth plastic, because smooth plastic is smooth, meaning it's like the same material. Stuff like normal plastic and anything else, they have like variations in the material, so they're going to fight. But if it's smooth plastic, it will be fine. So now, if we were to move the top eyelids down, we'll be able to just slide these like fillers, and boom, no more gaps. And the fun part about these is that we can make them out of different shapes. Like, maybe I want them to be angled, so I'm going to rotate this. If they're different shapes, you actually will have to mirror them. So it's the same on both sides. Intersect. Intersect. And then for your bottom lids, they can just slide right up, and boom! Variations for the eyelids. From what I've done, it's better to create the eyelid variations for the bottom, like the different shapes. And then for the top eyelids, you'd only do like the flat ones. And I do this because I like to create eyelash variations, which I will show you later. Yeah, for the top, I'd only have like one for an extension, but for the bottom, I'd create multiple of these. So for now, I'm just going to create some of these. So I'll make a basic extension for the top lid. And I know what you're thinking. This, whoa, fuck. Won't this bulk up the timeline? Yes and no. So, with the power of rigging and organization, we'll be able to organize these so that they won't they'll still bulk up the timeline, but only when you need to use them. Later on, it won't be that bad. So, do these and create some eyelid variations. Maybe like one, it's like more angled. These are the only ones I'm gonna make because I'm too lazy to make all of them. But with this technique, you should be able to like figure some stuff out. Intersect. Intersect. There we go. Uh-huh. And you're just going to slide these out of view. And boom. Next up is, what the fuck? Why are you not the color white? Why are you not the color white? There we go. Alright. Next in the process is to make the eyelashes. Eyelashes are equally, I wouldn't say equally as tedious. They're just like, they're just hard to do. Especially if you want them to look good, because they're all about just detail. We're going to use the same technique we did to create the eye shapes. We're just going to like trace them using parts. These ones will, depending on the style you're going for, these can be really heavy in parts, so yeah. Here we go. Then yeah, just gonna trace the outline first, and then for like the rounder part, like this, the curve, I'm just gonna use like a negative part to like carve that in so that it looks pretty. Here we go. Just want to get the overall curve of this down. Yeah, so for now, I only need to make sure that the outline, the outer edges align. The inner part I can do later. Okay, and since I can't really see the edge too well, I'm just going to duplicate this and do it on the other side. Here we go. Now I got this. I'm just going to move this over. Might scale it over a bit. And then I'm going to use a negative. And I should be able to just union all these, and hopefully it'll come out good. What are you talking about? There we go. Okay, it's not bad. You definitely want to put more time into this one, because these can be a bit messy. I'm going to enable use part color, make it black. Just going to move these over, and just place them on your eye. Again, you're probably going to have to scale it so that it fits properly. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to duplicate the union head so that we can get the cylinder, separate it, get rid of these, separate again, get rid of those. I forgot to mirror this, so I'm going to mirror this. And then we're going to intersect with the cylinder that I have to duplicate, because there's two now. Intersect. Intersect. I forgot that if I were to intersect, it's going to mess stuff up, so where's use part color? There you go. Use part color, and then the use part color. Make it black. And there we go. Some eyelashes. If you want to make bottom eyelashes, go ahead. From what I've learned is that making bottom eyelashes when you have eyelid, like bottom eyelid variations, it's not very fun, because then you have to make multiple bottom eyelash variations. Don't really want to do that. For this, I'm going to make a second variation to the eyelid, simply for the sake of, like, for the rigging later. But I'll only make one. That should be enough to, like, show you how to make the eyelashes. Alright. I'm probably gonna make, like, a... maybe an angry eyelash. Yeah. Fuck. I can't talk normally. An angry eyelash. So a little more like this. Don't make any... For the eyelashes, I suggest don't making any crazy, like, differences. Like, just enough to, like, show variation. Something like that. It's a lot more angled inward. We're squished. No! Up. There we go. A little shorter here. And then I'm gonna duplicate this. And create the outline. Mm-hmm. Need to fill in the gap here. Negative. I need to push this out a bit more so that I don't know, it captures that. I'm going to use 2 negative parts here to make it a little smoother on the inner cut. Line those edges. Yeah, I say the most like time-taking process is aligning the edges, because you can get the general shape pretty easily, but making sure that everything is aligned to make it look smooth is kind of a pain. Gonna union this. I have a second eye shape to mess around with. It's a lot thinner. Duplicate mirror. Grab the union head and duplicate it and separate. Get rid of this. Separate it again. Get rid of those. Duplicate the cylinder, and then we intersect. And then we're going to use part color, make it black. And bam, now we have another eyelash variation. How these work is that you literally, on like one frame, like quickly swap them out with each other. And yeah. I realized that I didn't make these like diverse enough. These are not that big of a difference. You know, I just need 2 of them. Fuck it. But yeah, now we have the eyelashes. And now for the final part of building our eyes is creating the pupils. Now the pupils, depending on how you want your pupils, can be the easiest or the hardest part of the process. Because at its core, the pupil is literally just a cylinder. That is it. But if you want to add some more details, you can. So what I suggest doing, actually there's 2 ways you can do this. You can do it with a decal, which I've never done it, but good luck if you want to do it with a decal. I'm sure you can figure it out. Or you can do it the way that I do it, is by layering parts. So first, I'm going to open up Pinterest. I'm going to search up step-by-step eye rendering. And then we'll have like we'll have an image like this. Hold on. Save image. Okay. Now I'm going to open up my local file importer and import this image. You can find a lot of these around Pinterest, Twitter, if you search up like eye rendering step by step. And you're basically just going to follow this. So I'm going to create a pupil like this. Hold on. I'm going to insert a cylinder. We're going to make our pupil. So we need to make an outline. So I'm going to duplicate this. Negative. union. And then if I were to make this black, this part will be an outline. I'm going to duplicate it so I can get the part that I used to make that outline back. There we go. And we got a little pupil with an outline. I like to use neon for my pupils because it makes them look anime. We're going to color our pupil. Okay, and then from this part we need to create like an eye shadow. I'm going to do this by duplicating our base color. Going to create like a, I need to union this. I'm going to create a cut. It's kind of like a round shadow like this. Union. And then darken this color. Make it a bit more saturated maybe. And I'm just going to slide this on. And now, actually I might need to lower this a bit more. Somewhere along the middle, like this. Okay, I made the shadow way too dark. I'm going to brighten this. And then there's like a black circle in the middle. I'm going to darken this. Scale it down. There we go. And in here, they added like a Pokeball line. So I'm going to reuse this shape since it has that kind of like tapered shape going on. I can reuse here. I'm gonna be a bit messy when making these because I'm too lazy to make an actual proper pupil. Just need to create that. Like, there's probably like way more optimized ways to do this, especially if I'm like, if you use decals, it will be way more optimized. But I'm not doing all that. There you go. Just gonna duplicate this to the other side. Again, I'm just here to teach you like the basic, like mechanics that come with making an eye rig. You guys can do all the special stuff yourself. And if you need any help or want to discuss like developments in eye rig stuff, you can join my Discord server. I have a suggestions and like I have a forum area where you can like, I don't know, man. This just whatever, man. Okay, then they added like these highlights. I'm gonna add. Such a scuffed tutorial, bro. It's kind of desaturated. It's. Do I not have used part? Oh my god. It's probably gonna be like the longest video on my channel because of how like fucking scuffed this is. It needs to be more darker. Something like that. And they have like a desaturated color up here. Say I can reuse this shape again since it's like a half circle. This color's kind of desaturated. You like that kind of color? Okay. Need to fill in this gap. And then there's like a really saturated blue. Like around here. Again, you want to have all your things layered. So that it's like, you know, I don't know, man. I don't know. And then we have highlights that we have to add. Like here. Another reason I like to use highlights is that if they get like to some point, they have this like bloom effect on them, which is really nice. And there's also a highlight there. And then I did a bright highlight into the center. It's not really like a full highlight though. It's like just a brighter section. Something like this. I think they also like added a bit, some like desaturation over there, so I'm gonna add that. I'm gonna copy the color. It's a very like subtle desaturation. And now that is our pupil. For later, for simpler pupils, you can just group these because then you can animate like the color changes. But if you want to animate your pupil changing size, you will have to union your pupil. Depending on how detailed your pupil is, you'll have a lot of parts. And if you don't have like a supercomputer, I suggest unioning them in like sections like this. And then just like slowly unioning them together. Since I really don't care, I'm just going to union them all at once. It'll freeze for a sec, but you know, who cares. And you're just going to put the pupil on your eye rig. And just rotate it so that it's like, just put it in like a neutral position. Actually, first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have them flat like this, because we're not going to be able to just flip it normally. I'm going to mirror this. I'm going to rotate these incrementally. So we're going to go to model, enable rotate. This might already be enabled for you. I don't have them enabled because I don't really like working with increments, but you know. So I'm going to rotate this maybe like 1, 2, 3. Just place that down. And this 1, 2, 3. That way they're like symmetrical. Now we have our eyes. And when it comes to modeling the face rig, we're done. So what you're going to want to do now, very tedious part, is you're going to want to name everything. So have fun with this. F2 to name it, or you could right click or double. Okay, I guess you can't double click. You're going to have to right click and rename. You can also open up properties and rename it here. I'm going to press F2 and just rename it. So this is the eye head. Bottom, right, lid. Bottom, left, lid. Top, left, lid. Top, right, lid. Right, pupil. Left, pupil. Left, sclera. Right, sclera. Left extension. Right extension. Bottom. Right. Oh, wait, no. Flat. Angled. Angled. Flat. I think that's flat. Is it flat? No, that's angled. Angled. Flat. Neutral lash. Neutral. Alt. Okay, so now that you have everything named, what we're going to do is we're going to group all of these. Just group them all together. So select them all in your properties. Or your Explorer, I mean. Right click, and then group as model. We're then going to drag this inside the head of your R6 rig. And we're going to select the rig, and we're going to scale it back down to normal. There we go. Now this isn't ready yet. We have to do the rigging. Very fun. Let me think. Next, we have to create some handles for the rigs. Handles are essentially like the hit boxes in which you like select it. Because if you were to just work with the normal like selection, you might accidentally select the eyelash when you want to select, I don't know, the fucking pupil. So if we make proper handles, we won't have that problem. So I'm going to create a block. We're still in 0, 0, so I'll be able to mirror this properly. And we're basically just going to create some handles. I know that other face rigs that have like this panel with all the handles there. You can do that if you know how to do that. I don't know how to do that, so I'm not going to teach you how to do that. I'm just going to do them the way I know how to do them. So just create these like parts that jet out. This will be for the top right lid. This will be for the pupil. And this will be for the bottom lid. You don't have to make handles for any of the like extension parts or the eyelashes, since those are details that you can just animate manually without having to grab the, the handles. I usually do that in post. So, yeah. And now we're just going to duplicate these and mirror them. What the fuck? Am I not in 0, 0? I'm not in 0, 0 anymore. Hold on. Let me group these just so I can move them to 0, 0. That's a bit annoying. Okay. Ungroup. Now I can mirror them. You're going to also want to name these handles. I named everything before just to make it easier to know what's which, but the real names that are important are these. So, right top lid, like top right lid, top left lid. Fuck. Oh my god. Okay, there we go. Right pupil, left pupil, bottom right lid, top left lid. There we go. Just going to make these transparent and drag them inside our dummy. And then what we're going to do is we're going to I know there's other like rigging softwares. I'm pretty sure Edit Rig, you can like rig using that. I don't know how to use that. Go search up a rigging tutorial, because I don't know how to use that. But if you are animating in Moon Animator, which I'm sure you are if you're making this on Roblox Studio, you're going to have Easy Weld. So I'm going to use that. So we're going to open up Easy Weld. I'm going to, for the head, we're going to weld together all these handles using a Motor 6D weld, which means we're going to enable animatable, join in place. And now we're going to open our model. And first we're going to weld all of the handles to like their corresponding parts. So select the handle first and go to the part. So bottom right, bottom right lid to bottom right lid. And then use a non-animatable weld for this, because you don't need to, animate inside the handle. There you go. Just gonna do all these. This is top left lid, top right lid. And for the alts, what you're going to do is you're going to select your handle, and then you're going to select the alts, like the this one, and then you're going to make these animatable. So there you go. Did I name this top left lid? Yo, I'm stupid. If you have any naming errors and you already welded the thing, make sure that you rename your thing first. Bottom left lid. You could also rename the weld, but I forgot which fucking weld. It's this weld. There we go. You have to also rename the weld. I think you have to rename the weld. I'll just do it. Just fucking do it. I don't know. Bottom left lid. I need to. weld these. Have I welded everything? Okay. Oh yeah, I forgot about the eyelashes. Also weld the eyelashes. For the eyelashes, yeah, just use an animatable weld for these as well. So, where? There you go. And then select the head, and then disable animatable. And then you're going to weld the eye head and both scleras. And just join in place. And boom! That's welded. When it comes to rigging, like editing the rig, you don't have to really do anything. If you do want to do something though, what you can do is you can grab the pupil welds and move them to the center. Doing this will make it so that you can just rotate the pupils instead of having to like manually move the pupils, which is really nice. So just have those in the center. And now for the brows and the mouth, they're just decals. I haven't figured out a way to do like a union, like a mouth rig or a brow rig. So just use decals and just do it however you normally do your decal face rig. If you don't know how to do a decal face rig, go into Toolbox, search up face rig. Face pack, that's what I meant. Face pack. And then you'll find a lot of face packs here. I personally like to use Lauren's face pack. It's a really nice face pack. I'm just going to grab like a good brow for defaults. Maybe I am so indecisive. Oh my god. This makes a good default. So I'm just going to grab this. And what I'm going to do is that I'm going to actually grab the eye head, duplicate this, move this out of here for now, separate it so that I can get the cylinder that I used for this. I want this cylinder. No! I deleted the head. That's not what I meant to do. There we go. I got my cylinder. And now normally if you were to put like a decal on this, it'll be oriented a little weird. Yeah, it will be sideways like that. I'm going to fix that by getting a part. That is, yeah. I'm going to get this part. I'm going to scale it down so that no one can see it. Just put it in there. Then I'm going to union it with the cylinder. Where the fuck? How did you get here? Yeah. You just move it to where no one can see it. And then union it with the cylinder. And now, if I put a decal on it, it should be oriented correctly. There we go. I use a cylinder so that it's like curved. I don't like using like parts for decals. If you want to do that, go ahead. It's just a personal decision. Yeah, let me grab an eyelash. Oh, did I say eyebrow? Fuck. There you go. Put that. I didn't put that on the right. Where's the cylinder? Where's the cylinder? There's the cylinder. Okay, so we have the brows. I'm going to duplicate this. Grab like a mouth. What mouth do I want to use? Maybe something like a... This one. No. This one. I like this one. That's a cool mouth. So we're just gonna paste this onto the cylinder. And there we go. Now, you can just do a normal weld, you know, not animatable. I like to animate the brows and the mouths moving sometimes though, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create some handles, like I did previously. Let me just set the position to 0, so it's perfectly aligned with the center. Just going to create some handles for the brow and for the mouth. Because if you make it animatable normally, without handles, every time you click the head, it will select the brows or the mouth, which is very annoying. So make some handles if you're going to make them animatable. Mouth. Brows. There we go. I'm just going to move these into the rig. I'm going to name these properly so I know what they are for later on. Eyebrows. That way, I'll be able to find these easily when I animate. I named this brows one. This is the mouth. I'm a dumbass. There we go. And then we're going to do a normal weld. And then we're going to do an animatable weld for the handles. And again, like you did with the pupils, if you want to be able to just like rotate these, go into edit rig. Plugin in the description. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier, but all the plugins will be in the description. Just move these to the center. And boom! Now, this should be animatable. I think. If I did everything right. Fuck! Oh, there, I didn't do things. Oh, I welded it wrong. Oh, I'm gonna kill myself. Oh, okay. Oh, I see what I did wrong. Oh, I see. I didn't even weld the eyelids. I'm so smart. Why are you welded to the top right lid? Why? Okay. Now it should be animatable. And if it's not, I'm going to kill somebody. There we go. A working face rig. A working face rig. What the fuck? Why is it doing this? Why isn't it? Oh, I'm gonna kill somebody. Oh, I'm gonna kill somebody. Why is the bottom left lid welded to the top left lid? What am I doing? What am I doing? No, no. Okay, now it should be animatable. Okay. 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 Yes! It is now a working face rig. It all works. This is great. This is awesome. So yeah, so when you're animating this normally, you would do your basic rigs. And then if you want to animate, you know, the eyelash changing out, you just create like a very fast, like eyelid switch. Like create a keyframe here, move this out of the way, make sure there's something right there, and drag this forward. Make sure there's no gaps. So then it would be able to like swap out in time. I didn't do a good job at making eyelash variations this time, but you know, you get the gist. You get the gist. And if you want to go for like some very dynamic eyelash variations, what you're going to have to do, that you're going to have to like create eyelash extensions that accommodate for those dynamic changes. So, but yeah. Also, these are the pupil rotations I was speaking of earlier. Why can't I? Oh my god. Oh. Does it work here at least? Please, please. Okay, this one works. Yeah, so you'll be able to just rotate things instead of having to... You know, if you didn't do this, you just have to move it properly and fix the angle and rotation, and it's just a mess. I don't know why this one's not fixed. Let me check. Left pupil. What is wrong with you? You're welded to the top left lid? Oh my... Okay. But make sure you check your things are welded to the right things, or you'll have some fucking problems. But yeah. Congratulations. You have just made a face rig 7090. If you need any help or would like to, you know, post your developments and see anyone else's work, come to the Doc7090 Discord server, where I'll also be in VC, pretty often. If you need any help or have any questions, just ask me in VC. I'll drop everything I do to help you out. Totally, 100%. I totally won't ignore you. And yeah. Put suggestions in the comments for tutorials I can do, because I'm going to start doing that, I guess. And yeah, thanks for watching.